Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm super excited for today's video because today's video I'm going to be talking about 20 of my pro tips on traveling, and these are just like general tips, although they're very good tips, I would say. And these tips are like the tips that no one really tells you about. Yeah, let's get into it, right? And before we get started, if you guys aren't subscribed yet, please guys subscribe to the channel. That lets me know that you guys are liking the videos and you guys want more. So please subscribe if you aren't yet. Alright, so the first tip I have for you guys today is make sure to check in with your airline at least 24 hours before the flight is about to take off. And this is very important because sometimes if you're flying with a budget airline, you have to check in at least a few hours before. And if you don't, they might charge you to check in like at the actual airport, and if you just don't check in at all, then you will definitely miss your flight. And this is something that happened to me. I was flying with WOW Air, and on the email it did not even say that you had to check in, but I guess you had to check in online. And when I went to the gate to check in and stuff, it was too late and I lost my flight. And then when I went back on my email, like the email had like deleted itself from WOW Air, which was just super fucking weird. And so I lost my flight and had to buy another flight to another place. Make sure to freaking check into your flight because losing your flight freaking sucks. Learn from my mistake. All right. The next tip I have for you guys is make sure to print out your passport. Have an e-copy and have a hard printable copy. And the reason for this is because honestly, when you're traveling, anything could happen. You might you lose your backpack. You might get stolen. With your passport inside. You never know what can happen while traveling, and it's kind of like Murphy's Law. Sometimes when what can go wrong will go wrong. So a lot of times people do lose their passports or even their wallets. So make sure to have that extra copy just in case. And tip number 3, let your bank know you're traveling. Let your bank know what country you're going to or what countries you're going to, because if you don't let them know that you're going abroad, they'll see the activity on your card and they'll think it's like someone stole your identity or stole your card or whatever, and they might just close the card in general. And so you might be in a different country and you might be locked out of your card for good, and so that would suck because then you're in a different country with no money potentially. So definitely let your bank know. And the next tip with that is always exchange your currency before you leave to the next country, or before you leave your home country essentially. And the reason is because if you change your money at the airport, they do charge you more money, and also if you change your money even abroad, they'll charge you more money essentially. So just go to your bank and exchange money, exchange currencies. And big reason also is because you always just want to have that extra cash for right when you get there, because there might be you might have to pay for the taxi, you might have to pay for something that you just don't know about, and so it's always super helpful to have this cash ready right when you arrive. So just letting you know, because sometimes ATMs aren't readily available to you at all times. Moving on to the next tip, this one's also very important, and honestly a lot of people don't talk about this, but when you're going abroad and because you have to take a jacket most times, when you get a jacket, make sure you get a jacket that has like a pocket right here on the chest somewhere, or at least in the front, preferably like inside the jacket. And the reason for this tip is because pickpocketing is very common amongst travelers, because they're people with the most money usually, and they're just easy targets essentially for pickpocketers. So if you have your wallet, your whatever right here on your chest, your passport, whatever, if you feel someone reaching into that, you're definitely gonna feel that, versus if you have your wallet in the on your back pocket or in your purse, you might not feel that from a pickpocketer. So it's a very good idea to have it right here in the front, so that way you'll notice if someone's going to steal it from you, right? And the next tip, I think we're on 7 or 6, I'm not too sure, but the next tip is when you're actually going to the airport, or you're actually going to be getting ready for your flight, wear your heaviest clothes on the flight, meaning wear your biggest coat, wear your heaviest shoes, wear your jeans, wear your heaviest stuff. That way you will have like more free weight available in your luggage essentially. So that means you can take more stuff, or on your way back you can take more stuff essentially. So that's a pro tip that many other people don't talk about. Wear your heaviest clothes on the airplane. And tip number 7, also when you're planning your flights out, try to always get a direct flight, or if you can, get like one with like the least amount of layovers. And if you do get one with a layover, don't try to get like the one with like the shortest layover. Try to get like at least an hour layover, I would say. The reason for this is because many people do lose their luggage. I have not yet, but it can still happen. And the reason why I really say this is because the more times you have layovers and the shorter the layover, the more chances of your luggage getting lost. Especially with like the short layovers, because with those they might not have enough time to transfer your luggage, and you might leave on your next flight, and your luggage will stay there. So definitely don't get like a layover like 30 minutes. At least try aim for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, just to be safe. And I know layovers suck, so that's why I always try to avoid them at all costs. Tip number 8 is also very important. A lot of people do forget to do this, but download your Netflix episodes and download your like music onto your phone or your iPad, whatever, or even your laptop, because when you're on the flight, you have to put all your electronics on airplane mode, and so you can't stream anything. So it's very important to get your Netflix episodes downloaded onto your phone, because if not, you'll be more or less bored. If you don't have a book, or whatever, if you don't want to watch the movies on the airplane, you're going to be bored. So definitely download those onto your phone before. And the next tip kind of piggybacks off of the last one. When you're taking the earphones or your headphones, it's okay to take your Bluetooth ones or your wireless ones, but also make sure to bring one some with the jack, or like these right here with the jack right here, because especially on the airplane, if you want to watch the movies on the airplane, you can't connect your wireless ones or your Bluetooth ones to the actual airplane. You have to use one of these jacks. So definitely these are like life-saving. And I made the mistake of not taking these on a flight one time from LA to Rome, and so the entire flight I couldn't even watch the movies on the freaking flight, which it was just terrible. And I didn't want to buy a pair on the airplane because they're like $4 and they're like cheap anyways. So definitely don't make that mistake I made. And the next tip I have for you guys is to, when you get there, buy a SIM card. I think it's the easiest way to actually get data, and the cheapest way to get data in another country, versus using data from your plan back home. I personally think it's just cheaper just to get a SIM card there. I'm sure you might pay a fee to actually get the SIM card and whatnot, but overall I think it's a lot cheaper, especially if you're staying for like over a month. It's definitely gonna be way cheaper to get a SIM card there. So definitely just get a SIM card there. So for example, when I got to Italy, I just got a SIM card there with like Vodafone, and they had a really good plan. They have a really good plan, especially European plans. They have like plans where you could just pay for the data and not the calling or texting, because really in Europe, everyone has WhatsApp. And also to add onto that, if you don't have WhatsApp, definitely get WhatsApp number one. Just get WhatsApp. It'll save your life. The next tip is, if you don't want to buy a SIM card and you don't want to even use data at all while abroad, because you're only going to be abroad for like a week or two, then I highly recommend downloading the maps from either Google Maps or downloading them from like Lonely Planet. And these maps work even if you're offline, and they're very good maps. They even have like the sightseeing points, and they even have restaurants on there. And so they're really useful in case you get lost, and they let you know where you're going. And these maps are just very useful, so highly recommend them. Even if you are getting data, still I would recommend downloading them. Although I will say, little disclaimer is, they do take up some space on your phone in terms of memory, but barely any. So definitely I recommend those. And also, with that being said as well, the next tip is, when you're arriving to the country, or before you arrive, screenshot the directions from like the airport to your hotel, your hostel, or wherever you're going, your Airbnb. Like, screenshot those directions, because you might forget to do everything else, downloading maps or buying a SIM or whatever. So just take screenshots of like the directions on how to get to wherever you need to go, because I've never been in this situation, because I was I'm always prepared for that. But one time when I did go to Croatia, I met this girl, and this girl did not prepare for that. Like, she didn't even know where to go. Like, we got off like the bus in Split, I think it was, and she just didn't know where to go, like, for her hostel. So she was just gonna go walk randomly, but but fortunately I had my phone, had data, so I kind of let her know where to go. But either way, like, definitely make sure you know how to get from the airport or wherever the bus is leaving you to the place where you need to go. It's definitely a pro tip. Also, a lot of people don't talk about that one. And the next tip is also internet tethering. With this one, I don't know if you guys know about this, but internet tethering is when you have your cell phone, and your cell phone kind of works as like a hotspot, and you could use that phone to give internet access to another phone or an iPad or like your computer or other devices. And this tip is extremely useful if you have your laptop, because sometimes you might not have Wi-Fi, or where you're staying doesn't have Wi-Fi, but you have data on your phone. So you could potentially tether your phone to your laptop and get some work done like that if you have your laptop when you're traveling. But if you're not, then I guess you wouldn't have to worry about it. But either way, phone tethering is extremely useful. The next tip, I already know what number I'm on anymore, but the next tip, guys, is kind of goes back to the whole layover one. If you do have to get a layover, I would just recommend just getting a long layover, like a 24-hour layover if you can. That way, if you have to get a layover, you could potentially make an extra like little holiday in another city, in a different country, with your layover. So for example, sometimes you might have a layover in Iceland or London, and if you get a long layover, you could potentially just leave the airport and just walk around the city, or go to the city, whatever, and just explore a little bit, and then just come back in time for like your next flight, essentially. So that's a good tip. This next tip, seriously, no one ever talks about this one, but I think I highly recommend this one. So when you're getting ready to travel and you're packing all your stuff, one of the things I would recommend personally is to just pack like 2 or 3 pairs of undergarments, like from home, and then when you get to your destination, simply just buy some. Just go to H&M, go to like a store, and just buy some undergarments, and just buy some cheap ones. You don't have to get like super expensive with it. Just buy some cheap ones, and then when you're ready to come back home, or or when you don't need them anymore, just toss them in the trash. Like it's just undergarments. You don't really need to have them with you. Or another thing I guess you could do is just take a whole bunch from home with you, and then before you leave back home, just toss those away. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. But the reason I give you guys this tip is because sometimes it's that little ounce, or like those few ounces, that make or break your weight on your luggage, or the space on your luggage. So if you just get rid of that weight and get rid of that space, you could potentially just bring on like that extra souvenir that didn't fit in your luggage, or didn't weigh in your luggage, essentially. So definitely one of the biggest pro tips I can give you guys. And no one talks about that one. Definitely no one talks about that one. And the next tip I have for you guys is about credit cards. Definitely, if you don't have a credit card yet, definitely get a credit card, because you just need one as an adult. But more importantly, there are credit cards that are specifically for like travel, and so you do get travel rewards, or like mileage or points or whatnot. And if you're buying a plane ticket, and you get 3% cash back, 5% cash back off like a $800-$600 ticket, that's potentially a lot of savings right there. So definitely I recommend getting like a credit card, specifically one for like travel miles. Those will help you out a lot in the long run, and saving money and stuff. The next tip I have for you guys is definitely get a power bank, either before you leave or when you get there. Definitely get a power bank. Actually, get it before you leave. But power banks will save your life, because you might be out there with like 5% on your phone, but you have a power bank, so boom, it charges your phone back up to 100%. You're good to go for another day, or for another few hours, right? The next tip is if you guys are going to be staying in hostels primarily, definitely get a freaking lock. A lot of people don't get locks. I know I didn't get a lock for a long time, but definitely get a lock so you can lock all your stuff up in your hostel, because people do steal those. I had a watch stolen one time in London. I was so mad. I was just so I was so upset. But with that, I actually did find an iPad one time in a hostel, and the iPad, I didn't steal it, but I found it, and it was there for like 3 or 4 days, and like no one claimed it, so like I claimed it. But either way though, so I guess I kind of made up for that. But definitely get a freaking lock for your stuff. All right, definitely get a lock. And also, with that being said, with hostels, a little extra tip for there, I definitely get earplugs, because sometimes people in the hostels can be loud, Like one time, and it actually happened at the same hostel. But one time there was like these two guys in the hostel room, like, and it was like 3 in the morning, and I'm pretty sure they were on drugs, like they were just on like crack or something. I don't know. I do not know what they were on, but they were just making so much noise and like just being so stupid in the room. And another time there just a couple was like having sex in the freaking hostel of a hostel of like 20 people, I think, or like less than that, like 12 people. Still, I was like, dude, come on, you could hear it, and I was like right next to it. I was like, oh. But either way, guys, definitely get earplugs though. All right, you guys. So I just have 2 more tips left. I'm trying to make a shorter video. I really recommend getting vitamin B for your travels, especially if you're trying to party, if you're trying to drink and stuff. Definitely get vitamin B because you know, nothing sucks more than, you know, spending so much money to go on a trip just to spend a day, you know, being hungover. You know, it's like you don't have like time to waste being hungover. You know, you can't, you know, waste a day, you know, just, you know, sitting or laying down in the hotel room, you know, hungover. So definitely get vitamin B. It'll help out with your hangovers and stuff. And also get melatonin for the flights. That'll also help you sleep and combat jet lag as well. So definitely melatonin helps you sleep. And the last tip, guys, is definitely, guys, when you're traveling, say yes to everything. You know, say yes to everything. Obviously, don't say yes to drugs and stuff, but definitely say yes to everything, guys. If somebody invites you out to, you know, to go on a walk, exploring the city, someone that you don't know invites you to do something, or you just meet people, like, just say yes to everything, guys. Just keep an open mind, keep an open, like, you know, agenda. You know, don't like close yourself off, and especially don't like just follow like a strict itinerary. Definitely just like make way to like leave space open for like other people and like other events and stuff. So definitely say yes to everything. I have noticed that, you know, whenever I open myself up and I say yes to stuff, I tend to have more fun, and I, you know, find stuff that I wouldn't have normally found in cities. You know, and it just, I think saying yes, it just opens you up to more possibilities and essentially more fun within your travel. So definitely that's the last tip I have for you guys. Alright, you guys, so that's gonna go ahead and conclude the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I try to make it as short as possible, and if you guys enjoyed the video, guys, please leave a thumbs up. And also, if you guys have any travel tips of your own, please, guys, comment them down below. I would love to read them, and, you know, it'll probably, and it'll be good for other travelers reading them as well. So definitely comment down below any pro travel tips that you may have and that I have missed. So definitely do that. Alright, guys, so I'll see you guys next time. Peace.